All right. So we're gonna I just want to talk about the possible return of the Kings. Just about 3 weeks ago, this trailer came out, and I lost my collective mind. All two brain cells rattling around in the top of my head, now being warmed because it is so freezing cold in Australia right now. It's 13 degrees and very windy. When I saw this shot right here, my first thought was, is this the return of the Kings? Right? Now, I've been very harsh and very critical against Ed Boon because he is the creative lead, if you will, for Mortal Kombat, and has been since John Tobias stepped away. They always say he's the co-creator, which I'm very grateful for. There's never been any sort of undermining there to try and make out that now just because Ed Boon has, you know, basically been at the helm of more Mortal Kombat games than John, that somehow, you know, any sort of like co-creator type status gets wiped away because like, well, I've been here longer, right? So that's really good. Okay, these two guys here is like the perfect marriage when it comes to Mortal Kombat. You need both. You have to have both in order to make a great Mortal Kombat game. And I have watched ever since Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, MK being turned into gimmick after gimmick after gimmick. It got completely changed from the 2D era into the 3D era when it never needed to, right? It could have stayed the course because it was pretty obvious that people got over 3D fighters outside of something like a Tekken or a Virtual Fighter, maybe Dead or Alive, and everyone just came flooding back, you know, when we started getting like 2D fighting games, especially ones that had like a 3D era arc, like with Mortal Kombat. You know, Street Fighter came back with a vengeance after Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, while even though it was still 2D, right, and Third Strike, while it's a great fighting game, didn't set the world on fire. But when Street Fighter 4 got announced, that was huge. And I believe Street Fighter 4 and Mortal Kombat 9, I think it came out in the same year. Pretty sure it did. I could be wrong. Right? So I always wonder, like, what if John stayed? What if, you know, they stayed the course, they kept it 2D, you know? Because, and I'll say that for another video, but, like, ultimately, like, they, you know, it's not that just the fact that we get, like, three very distinct eras of Mortal Kombat. There's very distinct mindsets and play styles that come in with that as well. And I'll explain that in another video in more detail. But this one, we're just focusing on the possible return, theory crafting here, on whether or not John Tobias is back on the team. You see, he was working for another Warner Brothers studio in San Diego. I don't know what they were working on, but what happened was that studio just recently got shut down. And so, you know, in theory, maybe John's out of a job. Maybe. I doubt it, right? Obviously, this collection is huge, right? This is a massive deal, especially for us OG people. Having these two guys together on screen. Now, I've seen them over the years being on screen. There was some recent panel, I think it was, where somebody in the audience was asking about older games, you know, and both of these guys were there, and Ed Boon really perked up. I mean, this is their MK. This is their baby. This is without, like, all the other MKs wouldn't exist except for if it wasn't for the 2D era. That's just a fact, right? And like when I spoke to Stephen Frost in my interview with him from Digital Eclipse, he said it was just this incredible moment. He said he was off screen when they were filming this, and to see them on screen together was a dream come true, basically. And it's like that. When I watched this trailer and I reacted to it, seeing them together on screen, to me, I thought, well, maybe this, you know, there's something else there, perhaps. Maybe he's coming back to, you know, steady the ship. Now, Ed Boon, he's not the story guy, right? And it's pretty obvious that we've seen all the way, even if we go just to MK9, we go from MK9 all the way down to MK1, the recent game, we've seen an absolute chronic decay, a complete and utter ruination of Mortal Kombat, to basically becoming a laughing stock. Now, Mortal Kombat's always been a little bit goofy and stuff like that, sure, but as far as the story goes, especially in the older games, it was actually quite serious. The actual storylines were very serious for the characters, right? So while the gameplay and stuff might have been a fun and party game and all that sort of jazz, the actual storylines for the characters themselves were taken very seriously. This guy right here, he's the one because of that. John Tobias is the one. This is his world. This is his universe. He's the one that cooked it up. You know, it came into his brain and he's like, yep, this would be an absolute great premise based on all of their love of both of them of, you know, old martial art movies and whatnot. Things like Big Trouble in Little China as well. Culminating into what essentially became one of the greatest fighting game franchises of all time. And to see them on screen, my first thought, like I said, was Return of the Kings. My second thought is he back? And what if he is? What if having a complete failure, that is Mortal Kombat 1, and it is a complete failure, that we actually get now this, you know, we actually get what I would consider, you know, somebody coming in and riding the ship, literally and figuratively, considering he is obviously the one that penned the stories and stuff like that, right? And bringing Mortal Kombat back to what greatness used to be. Now, that could be, whether it be in a new Mortal Kombat game, it could be the fact that he's back on the team, and this is all theory, obviously, because of these collections, because they want to get these collections correct. They want to make sure that these collections and possible future collections, as well as possible things like maybe, I don't know, remasters, stuff like that, that, you know, that they are done in such a way that is, you know, respectful and worthy to be considered under the banner of awesome MK games. You see, people talk about remastered, right? And I've been saying this for a while, right? I would love to see a new Mortal Kombat game done in John Tobias's art style. But think about this for a second. What if John Tobias, what if they were remastering these older games? Because this is what Ed Boon had said about bringing these old games back, but with like a new coat of paint, essentially. What if they brought these games back, but John Tobias actually penned all the artwork himself, and others that can obviously do his as well, you know, so it's accurate to his art style, so he's not just the only guy doing it, because it'd be a lot of work, and giving us not just, it's not so much a remaster, but more like a representation of the game. Imagine that. Imagine having a representation of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, Ultimate, Trilogy, whatever. But the graphic style is John Tobias's art style. Right? So we get a remaster, sure. But it's not a remaster in the traditional sense. You know, where they might use AI or whatever to, or whatnot to give us, you know, sort of like high definition sprites in the game. What if they decided to flip the script a little bit and actually give us an authentic looking to the art style, the drawn characters, the actual drawn characters of Mortal Kombat that John Tobias did, instead of obviously digitized, right? Because while the HD stuff would look amazing, sure, absolutely. We've had rumors about HD for years. We've had people working on their own projects for years. And I just wonder if maybe, you know, maybe there's more than meets the eye here, if you will, to John's, you know, like, yeah, he's obviously come back and he's being interviewed for this stuff, for the collection, sure. But, like, he was obviously hired by Warner Brothers under the San Diego studio, and whatever they were working on obviously was something that they didn't see any future with. But that wouldn't be because of John. I wouldn't say it would be because of John, because John's, you know, like, he's invaluable as far as I'm concerned when it comes to MK. So if I was in Warner Brothers' position, looking around going, shit, how do we fix this? Then I would be making sure that I would be hiring the other guy that put Mortal Kombat on the map. It's not just because of the blood. It's not just because of the fatalities. It's the stories, it's the character design, it's the world building that they did all the way back in the arcade. What was it, 92? This is what set the world on fire compared to the other fighting games. It was completely different. It really took the world by storm because nobody else was doing it to this capacity. Nobody, right? Actually having real people that you were controlling on the screen, beating the snot out of each other. You guys, like some of your younger guys, you have no idea, like the amount of conversations and all sorts of stuff that we would have talking about how cool this shit was. You know, that you go home, like you sit in the arcade and you can't wait to get to school on Monday after the weekend and tell everyone, hey, holy shit, dude, what? This is you fighting game there, they're actual real people. And what are you talking about, bro? Shut the hell up, right? It's like, no, there's real people that we could use. You know, that's the sort of stuff, man. That's the sort of stuff that I want to, you know, I want to see that kind of stuff come back. Obviously not anymore with that, but that level of excitement and speculation. And we have been seeing that in regards to the collection itself. But we do have some Easter eggs. I mean, we do know that there's going to be some more announced games for this collection. I think most of us have probably guessed correctly at this point. But as far as like if they ever did a remaster or something, what if John Tobias is back for that? Maybe he's like a lead art director or something like that in regards to the actual design of, you know, a remaster, but not done in digitized form, but in, you know, actual John Tobias artwork. And if anyone knows what I'm talking about, that should make you very excited, right? And of course, they could do things like they could have AI in there to. They could also have like an AI filter, which, you know, they could have created an AI that actually, you know, upscales everything automatically that you can swap between the two. That'd be kind of interesting as well. But I think it's fair to say that, at least for me anyway, that there's something here. There's something here. There's something else, right? There's something else here that, you know, that I think hopefully moving forward will do something positively, finally, outside of this collection for Mortal Kombat moving forward. So, but anyway, guys, I want to know what you think. Catch you next time.